Hello everyone and welcome back to Gamers Breakfast. My name is SkojSkull and I got my co-husband Jalbagel.
Hello.
And we got our new guest with us today, the amazing Ness, MessyNess.
Hello.
Yeah, for those who don't know who MessyNess is, what he does currently is he's a full-time video editor. And he edits for people like Blau. He's done some videos for me, and I've forgotten some of the other people you edit for. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. I edit for quite a number of people, so there's quite a few. I edit for someone called Norman Bates Jr., Skyday, Blau, Band Prevail. I've edited for just a number of people, so currently
the resume goes on.
Oh yeah, but the things you used to do as well. I would like to I think talk about your story as well, because I think it's a very interesting journey, and what we'd like to talk about here on the podcast as well is some stuff related to mental health and everything. And I think talking about that journey is pretty important because of people utilizing their time for certain things, and how much involved like editing is and streaming on top of that sometimes is, because you've done that before too.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a full-time freelance video editor. As is mentioned before, I used to be a streamer on Twitch. And yeah, I started taking up very small part-time jobs here and there. And I realized that it was something that I really enjoyed, and also I had a better income, and I just needed a better income to survive, really. And streaming is awesome. It's super fun, but it's very, very, very difficult to maintain
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's very hard to maintain as something that you can do for a while, especially
we could just say it blatantly. So it's hard to maintain a consistent income streaming. Like it's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. Yeah.
So you used to do I think when I met you, it was mostly Dead by Daylight when you really got started.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I used to play mostly Dead by Daylight. Eventually started playing other games. I enjoyed streaming initially a lot, and later on I still enjoyed it, but I just felt I was missing. It's like I enjoyed videos, like making videos and such, and that was something that was missing with streaming. And I just wasn't enjoying it as much. And also life got really busy, so streaming it became really hard for streaming to be just a side thing, I only have time for like one main thing, and that's it, really.
Especially like with streaming, it requires like your energy as well. You can't just be on and just be like, "What's up? All right, let's play some games."
Oh yeah.
I mean, like some people do that though, and it works fine for them. Like it's wild.
Oh yeah. Like when I see that, I'm just like, all right, you know what? Fine. But yeah. And then
there's a lot as well outside of just streaming. You also have to network with people. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. So much.
Yeah, it's a lot to manage with that for sure. Like they're trying to like, all right, with my limited time, I need to like talk to other content creators so I don't like get like feel left under the bridge. But yeah. But
all that takes a lot of effort. Like the way that I explain it to people is like for every 2 hours you're streaming is another 1 hour of just managing that stream, right? You know, like I spend hours every week, like, making making the schedules, making my posts, making, content on inside of the content, right? I mean, like, I'm not even like doing like videos or shorts or anything like that. I'm just streaming.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of effort that like just goes into that, people don't really realize how much we put into it off the camera too.
Yeah. Like you just organize your layout too for your stream.
Yeah, and that didn't take very long, but yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Good with OBS and Photoshop. Love that stuff.
Yeah. But from streaming, like, what would you say the transition was from that? Because I remembered you made some videos yourself, and you were like leading into more like YouTube editing, and you started loving it more.
Yeah. So the biggest difference between streaming and, let's say, YouTube and just video editing and just YouTube videos in general is with streaming. I feel like you just have a lot more. You can make a lot more with videos, whereas streaming, for me at least, I was very much so limited by my hardware, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't do all these really interesting stuff because my hardware restricts it. And I felt like my creative side of things was really getting drained out. And
Mm-hmm.
it's hard. It's really hard on Twitch because a live stream is something that's constantly going, and you can't just put on a performance every single minute. Sometimes you're just chilling there. It's so different to like YouTube, where you can have a specific thing you want to focus. I just want to specifically focus on this and make that, and I think that's really, that's great. So that was one thing that made me transition over, and something that I just really enjoyed. It was just being able to be more creative with what I make, especially with my hardware. So you can be creative on your streams. You can have some really cool OBS stuff. You can mess around with it. There's a lot of amazing plugins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool.
But like you're saying too, like all that stuff can be very demanding on a computer. Like I had to upgrade my computer to keep up with the very minimal things that I do, and I'm still having problems, and I don't know why. Like you're absolutely right, and I think it like goes to say too, because you can have a 4-hour stream of which maybe an hour of that is like actual content versus a 4-hour video where the entirety of that 4-hour video is curated content towards a topic that you're working towards. So it's very, very different, kind of product there. But like it's insane too, because like the level of effort that goes into each of those things and the amount of time that goes into each of those things for the amount of payoff is like drastically different too. Because you put 16 hours into like a 1-hour long video to put that up onto YouTube. And then that 1 hour needs to gain all of the traction and the revenue and the attention that you would expect 16 hours to, versus like 16 hours of a stream where it's like 80% of that could be nothing and 2 hours of it could be a banger, and that's considered successful.
That's it. That's exactly it. Interesting. Oh, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Interestingly enough, I actually was making YouTube videos and I eventually stopped because of that. You work so many hours on a video and then you don't really get a lot out of it, and you get so exhausted, right? But that's where me coming into commissioning came in. I was like, oh my gosh, because I started working for others. I did some work for someone, and they were just like, well, this is crazy. Like, this is really good, and they enjoyed working with me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is pretty fun. So I started working with other clients, and it feels really good having people appreciate the work that you do, and and it's something that you need. Let me tell you, it's something that you desperately need in anything you do. Like, you cannot work on something with no like positive feedback on it. It will drain your mentality badly. Like if you're just constantly doing something and you get nothing out of it, it will drain you. And that's how I felt with videos. So I did go back to streaming again quite a bit, but I lost that creative side of things. And then I eventually picked up a few commissions for video editing, and that completely changed things. I thought, wow, why didn't I do this the first time? Because I really enjoy this. Maybe I should do it for other people. That's what I should have done ages ago. But it was a good decision. Pretty happy with it.
It always
like any. Oh, go ahead, Skoy.
Oh, I was gonna say that I completely understand that though, because there's a lot of like, you lose a lot of motivation when some videos don't do well, especially when you edit them yourself for your own channel. Sometimes you hit that high, like let's say you get a video that gets 40,000 views for your main channel, you're like, what? And then your next video gets 800 views, and you're like, what did I do wrong now? So it's crazy just seeing that, and it really does like destroy you.
It's hard to manage that expectation too when you do like have a couple like where you put that level of effort into a video, and then like you have like a couple that do okay, and then you have one that does really well. Like how do you manage your expectation for the next one, you know? Like, because the algorithm is so fickle in and of itself, and like how videos gain traction on YouTube is so boom or bust. It's really hard to like manage that expectation for just for like creating videos and stuff like that.
No, that's actually something I still deal with as well as a video editor. Every time I video edit for a client, I'm always thinking in the back of my head, you know, I see the views and I think, was it me? Like, did I do something wrong? Did
I cause that?
No, exactly. And you know, you still have those like thoughts as a editor. But
I mean, I think like as a like freelance video editor, and like for anyone else that's thinking about that too, like that's a very important point. And I think it comes down to, I mean, I guess I don't know how you deal with that, but like me as a customer, right? Because I recently hired someone to edit a video for me, because I don't have time to do that. You kidding me? They put a lot of good effort into it, and they put a lot of time into it, and like the end result was, you know, regardless of how the video does, like I am going to pay you money for that. But like me as a consumer, I understood that the video that you make me has no guarantee to perform well, right? Like the video that you gave me has zero guarantee whatsoever. What I'm paying for is a video to be made. And then one that I'm happy with putting my name on and putting out there into the world and saying, you know, credit to you for creating it, right? But it's just like one of those things, like as a customer, that we have to understand. And then one thing as a I guess producer, as an editor, that I guess you have to like consolidate within yourself, like reconcile within yourself that like those moments are going to happen. Like, I don't know, like how do you, because do you like carry that with you? Like if you make a video for someone and it like does poorly compared to their average metrics, or the average metrics for the videos that you edit for them, like how do you reconcile that? Like, even if at all.
Something I've learned over the year is that it's a YouTube, let's say I edit YouTube videos, but YouTube videos are dependent on several factors. One of them being video editing, but there's also title, thumbnail, and the current trend. And I'm constantly reminding myself that though video editing is a huge part of it, like truthfully, it is 1/4 of
like the whole formula.
Of the whole format. Despite video editing taking nearly, I would say, a huge majority of the time, it doesn't matter. In terms of, it is just 1/4 of it. Thumbnail is so important. Titles are so important, and the topics and trends are also really, really important. I've had some of my best, some of the best video I've made was one that didn't do as well as a video I didn't put as much effort in. And I think this is going to be very common for everyone, right? Where you have one video where you didn't put as much effort in, but it blew up. And then you have another video you put in hours and hours into it. It's not doing as well. And that's common for me. And again, I just tell myself, it's okay. What does help me though is, and actually I might talk to Skoj about this, is getting details on the retention on each video.
Yeah,
right?
it's smart.
Yeah.
And you can then see where dips happen, and it kind of gives you an idea of where to improve on. And that's what I do with my with one of my clients, Blau. I'm able to look through the viewer retention, and I can see where people dip or where there's a rise, and how whether it's consistent or not all the way through. And that's way more important than anything. That's it doesn't matter how many views it gets. That, in my opinion, is a very important thing to look at if I can. If not, just don't blame myself. It'll be all right, and just try my best for the next one. But yeah, go on. Sorry, cut you off.
I was just gonna say I can give an example for the recent video that we did together. Was the pay to win one, that we did, which it was really good, but like I did the stream like late in the trend, and when the video came out, it was even later, and that's definitely on me. Like it was the video didn't do as well as I hope. It still did really well, and I was really excited to see like for me, if a video goes over 1,000 views, I get excited because that's when it starts. That's when it starts. Like viewers that like see it on the recommended page, they see a video over 1,000 views, they're more likely to click it than, let's say, a video that's over like only 200 views and stuff. So I get excited about that. But yeah, I didn't do as well as, let's say, when I did the Guys McGorn video, which was a video I put out a while ago. It was about a month and a half or so after the initial release of the base game of Monster Hunter Rise, or Monster Hunter Sunbreak. So no one was talking about it yet. No one really made a video on it because Monster Hunter's like so keen on like keeping endgame bosses a secret for at least like a month. So I was just like, I'm gonna dive into
the only
that.
thing that Monster Hunter keeps secret is the last boss. Everything else is revealed.
Yeah.
But the last boss, no, absolutely not.
So I thought it was like 3 or 4 weeks. I'm gonna post it, and it like kind of blew up like crazy, and it's like over 40,000 views right now. So it definitely depends for sure, like what's people are searching for at that time.
So I think this could become like a little fun shop talk, right? Because I mean, I've recently just had this kind of conversation with other people looking into being freelance editors, right? So I think this is like a fun shop conversation because you know, you say you have these 4 parts to video editing, to creating a YouTube video, the actual editing, thumbnail, title, and then what was the last one? Trend.
Yeah, it's the topic, whether it's the topic that you're talking about.
And I think that's really smart, because you can move yourself from just selling yourself, like you as a product, as a video editor, to a video consultant, right? Because it is really impactful to understand like what the client wants, and then managing that expectation and that goal. Because like if I came up to you and said, hey Ness, I want to make a video about Gmod like today in the year of our Lord 2023, and you're gonna look, and I'm gonna be like, and I want it to like, I want to hit like certain metrics with it, like I want to hit a new audience with it and stuff like that, and you're gonna look at me and go, it's not 2006 anymore. Like you're not gonna you know, I think that's like such a fair thing to take into consideration when you want to advertise yourself as a video editor, and like even further as like a video consultant, and being like, listen, I understand the trend, I understand what's the fun topic right now, and what's a good thing to create a video on, and then you can kind of collaborate on that idea, rather than just like, hey man, I got this like 8-hour VOD from a stream, can you turn it into something comprehensible?
No, that's definitely where I want to be, really, and it's why I try my best to get as involved in content as possible, not just video editing, also looking into what they do and you know, it's given ideas of whether something's worth it. I think one of the content I was given before by I got given the content before by Blau, and I questioned it and I said I could turn this into, you know, a video. But is it worth it, right? You know, when you look into it, is it really worth spending this amount of money on something that won't turn into something? And I think that's super important. I think every video editor should learn about YouTube. Like, it's if you're going to video edit for YouTube, you have to learn YouTube, because the truth is, like, you know, people are not made out of money. You know, people have a budget, and they want.
What do you mean? I have a check mark next to my name. I'm not a billionaire. What do you mean?
Oh man. But yeah, you know, they have a budget, and you are far more valuable if you are able to make their money worth it. You know, that's what's the most important. People are not. Some people, of course, some people do like to make videos just to have it on there. Fine, that's fine, that's cool. But there are many others that want to grow. And I always say, you know, try to get
that's a fair distinction. Because I mean, I put out like I said, I had one person, I commissioned one video, right? And I just wanted that video to exist, so I knew how much I was spending and that I was going to get zero the return back on that. I just wanted this video to exist and to be present on my channel, not for it to make money. But that's not always the case with somebody. So it's very smart. Sorry, I like the business aspect side of this like a lot, because I think it's super intelligent to think this way, you know, and I think it's really interesting to see like how other people think. When it's not interesting anymore, just change the topic.
It is interesting, and for me, as I think that's something that helped me stand out, actually. Really focusing on viewer retention and just being a good person to work with, who really tries to understand what the client wants. I know. The thing is, I know I've met a lot of other freelancers who couldn't get farther into it, and there are some give and take situations. Let's say for me, video editing, oh my gosh, I want to do so much, right? I want to edit this, I want to edit that, but you have to limit your time, and you have to focus on what is important. You can't just, you know, go crazy with it. You have to focus on what's going to actually help the video and what's not going to take too much time, and just making it as valuable as possible for your clients. And that's a huge thing that a lot of freelancers need to focus on, and I think that's something that many of them don't, and the reason why they can't go forward with it. They focus too much on, I want to add all these crazy effects and all these funny memes, but then it consumes too much of their time. And
I would say it honestly waters down the content of the video too, when you are more interested in making a joke rather than letting the video do the work. It's obviously situational, but I feel like good like content on YouTube, at least things that hold my attention, are things that like actually do what it says it's going to do, rather than like every 4 minutes, you know, Rick and Morty meme.
Unless it fits.
Unless the video is every 4 minutes a different Rick and Morty meme, in which case you're nailing it, dude.
True. I mean, as I said, those videos are fun. I get to, it's really fun when I can get to do those videos, but I noticed that there are not a lot of people looking just for that, you know. There are people, but it's like a one-off, right? But when you have consistent clients, and this is what's really important, that's how I was able to make this a full-time thing. When you have consistent clients, most consistent clients won't be like, just make anything, unless they have the money, but you know, they're not going to spend. Because video editing is not cheap, by the way. It's not cheap. It's I wish, like, I would love to just lower the price for Skoj, and you know, but I have to be realistic.
Absolutely. What?
Made him money. Look at him. He moves and everything. You know he's made him money.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's not cheap. So if you want consistent clients, you have to think about it. You have to think about it in a business sense. You have to. And if you don't, you're going to struggle. You're gonna have a bad time. So
it's just like any business venture, right? Like, how do you make it affordable for them but profitable for you, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that comes with experience and, you know, just kind of like working through your own process too. Because like especially if you're someone who is only used to editing for yourself and only used to editing your content, that's vastly different than editing content for someone else.
Yeah.
You have
100%.
to watch the whole recording. You have to watch all of the material given to you. And you watch it again, probably. Then you start making cuts and rough edits, and then you start understanding their humor and their audience. There's a lot of parts to understanding a other content creators like shtick. You know, like it's insane to me. I can't even edit anything for myself. I don't even know where I could imagine doing it for anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, sorry.
You're fine. I was just gonna say, like, I think what I really enjoyed about working with you, Ness, was you wanted to help me like produce this product as well. You wanted to like understand the mood, the tone, and what direction to take it. I told you, or you like recommended me to like timestamp everything, so I timestamped what I felt was like really good moments for the video itself, and then so we like started with that, and then I told you,
that's smart too.
Yeah, I also like mentioned to you as well, like if there's anything like in this like that I timestamped, like don't feel bad about not including it. It's just literally just being like, this might be funny, and you're like, no, not at all. Yeah.
I can attest the number of timestamps this man will give, and I'll look at it and be like, what was the joke here? And he'll look back and goes, I have no idea.
I mean, sometimes it comes out, sometimes something gets made out of it. But
because I remember because Skoj will go through and timestamp podcasts for shorts, right? Like when we were heavy on making shorts and stuff like that, and so we're going through this document like every day making shorts. I remember I came up to one and I pulled it out. I started cutting it. I made a rough edit. I went back and watched it. And I was like, Skoj, what was the joke here? And he goes, oh, there's like a 30-second clip an hour later that ties it all together. I was like, what? Where's that note?
I forgot.
Oh gosh.
Man,
that's great.
But that's smart to have like the creator go through their video, I guess, because that cuts down on your time too, right? How do you make it affordable for them and profitable for you? Cut down on your time. You know,
exactly.
And that's very smart.
Yeah. I mean, if you have all the budget in the world, then sure, you can get a video editor to cut it down for you. Yeah, that's you know, I've done that for others. It's to save them time, so you pay for the convenience. That makes sense.
That's what I paid for.
Yeah, exactly. You can pay for the convenience. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're somebody who, you know, is at a budget and you want to utilize your money as much as possible, use the video editor for video editing. Don't use them just for cutting. You want to utilize them as much as possible. That's really important. So yeah, timestamping
very, very smart.
helps a lot.
Oh yeah. So that's why, like, I also, because you and I get in call every now and then to like really discuss and talk through everything related to YouTube. Like, you open my eyes to like a lot of stuff. Like, you helped me a lot, like trying to get through what things I should look into when making videos. You helped me a lot of figuring out like what to do for my streams as well, because I've been thinking like I want to utilize my time as much as possible by turning like my streams into content that I can do later.
Absolutely smart.
Yeah,
very, very smart.
And I want to say, like, you definitely helped me out with my mindset on that, so that's what a gosh, I thank you.
This is like a really good like advertisement for Ness, and also like a workshop for freelance editors.
yeah. Thanks.
This is great.
But,
no, I love this. I mean, this is a great kind of like mindset, just like even like as a creator and as like a potential customer to think about when seeking out like an editor. Like, what are the things that are going to best help me come up with this product, and what are ways for me to get there affordably, what are options that I can look for in an editor, and like what are things that are okay to ask, like is it okay to ask an editor to cut a 8-hour VOD into 30 minutes? Sometimes yes, if you have enough money.
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, you have had situations like that, right, Ness, where you had to, someone just gave you a VOD and you had to like figure out the structure of it.
Oh yeah. I just as every other freelancer and artist or anything, I've had some crazy things. I mean, I'm gonna backpedal here, and I was going to actually, because I did want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So sorry, I don't know your name. I just see podcast husbands. Sorry.
Oh.
That's it. That's correct.
Podcast
my
husband.
official title is podcast husband.
I just saw your name here. I just. Oh, hey.
Yeah, it's
okay,
all,
okay.
we literally met 5 minutes before we started recording this. Do not feel bad.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, there was one of the comments you made about a person's being able to understand what sort of edits a person wants, like somebody like the style that they have, the audience that they have, and that was a big thing for me, and something I did mess up in my time. So I got a new person to work with, and their audience was very different to anything I've ever done. And when I got into it and I started video editing it, I saw their style, and I tried to replicate it slightly, but it was a challenge. Because you have to pretty much change everything that you thought of before, like the way you edit before and everything. And it does make you flexible, but that's something you always have to keep in mind. Like you have to understand your clients. You need to study. If you have a client that has a lot of videos, and this was a pretty big client at the time, and sometimes it's just not a style that you're used to, and you need to practice on it. So when I got into it, I did the work. I was not very happy with what I made, but I did improve on it, and it was a lot better. It was much better afterwards. But that's something to always keep in mind, and that's going to take up a lot more hours, right? These are hours you can't necessarily just clock in and say, "Oh, all right, this is going to cost you this much extra for me to learn your style." They're not going to accept that. Most are not going to accept that. And that's one thing I wanted to touch on. I
mean, that's an important business decision to make, because it's learning a new skill, it's learning a new part of the trade, and it's so you can get this one job. So you kind of have to take that like risk benefit analysis. Like, if I do this and I spend this time learning it and I take that hit, will that result in more work with this client, or if I do this and then I take that time and that takes time away from other projects and then I only get this one, like that's a loss on me. But then at least how to do it that way. It's like a baker. It's like, if someone always knows how to make cakes, but then now next week they have to learn how to make pies, like it's a whole new process.
That's exactly it. And the mistake that I made was that I initially didn't take it as that. I thought, oh, I've baked cakes before. Here's a pie. I'm sure this will be okay. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is a whole new.
Why does this pie have frosting on it?
Exactly.
Why is the candles on it?
And it starts getting a bit shaky when you have these other projects you need to work on, and you're like, oh crap, I'm putting more hours into learning this, and you have to prepare yourself for that. You have to. So for every new client you look at and you talk to, you have to give yourself more time than usual on that client. Even if you think, oh, I think I'll be okay, give yourself more time. you will need it. I don't think there's ever been a time where I sort of underestimated how long something would.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a couple of more hours than you expect. That's usually.
I mean, I think that's just smart about like doing anything really, like in any kind of like product line, right? Like the moment you try to do something new, it's going to take you longer. So understanding that and managing that expectation both with you and a client is very smart.
Yeah. What were we just talking about?
Yeah. I went off topic because I wanted to backpedal. That was my.
Oh, you're fine.
That was at least 30 seconds ago, so it's gonna take me a minute to remember. No, we were talking about setting yourself up, extra time, learning new things, client expectations, etc., etc.
Cakes, pancakes,
cakes and pies. Yeah, being a baker, cakes and pies, icing on pie. Icing on pie though does sound like a banger idea.
Dude, I want a birthday cake pie now.
Birthday, I'm telling you, this is a banger. This is $1 million idea.
Birthday pies. There we go.
That would definitely go viral. Everyone would be like, "What the heck is this?" But
that's viral on TikTok right now. Yeah. We're talking about trends. We just made the trend.
Just made a trend.
It's either gonna be like. It's either going to be like bakers like rejoicing, like, why has no one thought of putting icing on pies? Or everyone just going, this is gross. Who would do this?
Worst
this is
idea.
Exactly.
One way or the other. Either way, it's going viral. Hashtag icing pie. Hashtag birthday pie.
Ice pie. Oh, man. But
Actually, no, I have a question because we're talking about trends. How do you say no? No, you don't get to bring up questions on your podcast. That's like we have to get the process. I was like, did he just tell me no? this guy. So like, we're busy people.
Yeah,
like
full-time jobs.
You're doing like, albeit like full-time freelance video editing work. How do you find time to stay on top of internet trends and YouTube trends and TikTok trends and all of those things to help make those decisions, or at least guide those decisions in trending content? Like how do you find that time? Do you even, or do you just kind of like wing it?
Currently, right? Currently I do work. I work a lot, but what I would like to do in the future, and this is my plan, is to include that during my work time. I think you as a freelancer, realistically, you're not going to be working for. If you want to have a healthy work life, you want to work for about. It sounds strange. You want to like video edit for about maybe 30 hours a week, and that sounds strange, but you want to spend the other hours learning new skills and learning trends. You're not going to get paid for these things, but you actually will. You learn these and you study it, and the payment you get from it are from those 30 hours of work you do, because you're a much more valuable editor. And for me, I work I don't work 30 hours. I work more than that. So with I would say every week I work about I work about 60 hours a week. It's 12 hours. It's 12 hours per day, and then I have 2 days off, pretty much. It's actually very exhausting for me. But I try my best to.
It sounds awful.
It is awful. It's really awful. But I'm gonna tell you, to all the freelancers out there, I hate to say this, but this is how it's like when you start off. It's ridiculously hard. You have to, because there is such a huge competition, and you have to stand out.
Yeah.
And when you're starting off, unfortunately, people are likely not to hire you. They'll just look at you and think, oh, well, who are you? You need to build that reputation, and you need to build that portfolio and all of these things. And something for me is I'm working so much as well because I'm also trying to build a new PC. I'm trying to make sure I have video editing is not cheap either. You have to buy all the hardware, the software. And I'm also
that's fair, because like you need you need to keep up with your demand, right? Like with you personally, your demand, like what are the expenses to keep me surviving? And if unfortunately, if that requires like 60 hours right now, like that makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And for anyone that's going into it, the first few months, make sure you save up as much money as possible, because the first few months you're going to be earning absolutely nothing. It's not going. You're not going to be earning much.
Yeah.
And that's what it came down to. But I used to work more hours before, which is insane thinking about it. Yeah. But I've been reducing my time, and I say I work 60 hours. I'm actually including the time where I am looking at trends. I am learning new skills. So that's
Yeah.
just not 60 hours of just video editing. This is 60 hours of multiple things.
Yeah.
And I think and you the best, as I said, the best way to approach it is just look at your schedule that you have and think, all right, what can I there are some important things in life. There's, obviously eating, going outside.
And very important, yes. Consuming sustenance.
Sleeping.
We can skip that.
Sleeping also very important.
Very
Yep,
important.
yep.
Okay, sleeping is very important. The number of times I've had video editors that tell me they've only slept for like 3 hours or 4 hours. I know I made a tweet that said I did 16 hours. But trust me, I did 16 hours and I slept for like 8 hours straight after.
Yeah.
I value sleep so much, because if you
Absolutely.
you're just very inefficient. And guys, sleep. Just please.
Yeah.
But just when you look through your schedule, you want to look at the most important things in your life, and then you look into the things that you feel like are taking a bit of your time, and you have to cut them out. Like you just have to. And then you will, once you've done all that, you'll have like an approximate set of hours you have throughout the week. And then you want to realistically say, oh, how many hours of that can I use for working and everything? And then cut it to about, I would say, go for around a little more than 2/3 will be working, and the rest is going to be researching and just researching
and growing.
Video editing.
Yeah.
Video editing,
Learning
trends. You have to learn. If you don't learn, you'll stay stagnant. And unfortunately, you don't even stay stagnant, you actually drop, because the internet is just constantly evolving. There's constantly new trends, new video edits. Like, I talked this with Skoj, and it was the subtitles on Premiere Pro. They have something that allows you to make is auto caption, and they've had this for a while. Actually, not many people know, but the problem is people didn't care about it because it wasn't effective to use. It was really
janky.
You could use it, but you couldn't. It was hard to add animations and customize it. But in the recent updates of January, for Premiere Pro, they allowed you to do that. If no one, if
I
any
can animate
TikTok,
it
now? Yeah. So if there's any I know a lot of freelance TikTok editors, right? That I know in shorts, didn't know this, and I thought, oh my gosh, you gotta get on this, guys, because you can save so much time, and you can put your time on improving the shorts, therefore making you more valuable, right? You have spent an exact amount of time now. And you're producing better content. And this is something you have to do. If you don't spend that time researching, you're just going to spend more time working. It doesn't make any sense. So you have to research. You have to look at if you're a video editor, you have to look at the Premiere updates. You have to look at, or whatever software you're using, right? You have to look at the updates. And every time you're video editing, if you're doing something, you think, this took so long. Always find ways to see if you can do it faster. I use something called auto key. And you can write scripts on it, and you can use it for many different things. And I use it, auto hotkey is what it's called. And I have created scripts for video editing. So let's say I watch a VOD 2 times the speed. I have a button that changes it to 2 times the speed very easily. It'll go through it, and if I find a section that I was like, oh, this is good, I'll hit a button. It'll go back like 60 frames because it's going by so quickly, make a cut, and then put me right back to where I was playing.
Whoa.
You
Like,
use auto
within-
I for that, okay? Because
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I was using, I downloaded Premiere. I started with Vegas,
Yeah,
and I downloaded Premiere, and Vegas like has a function to do that, where you can
Yeah,
put
yeah.
a playhead and then go back to that playhead and then cut like 60 seconds after it or whatever,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Premiere doesn't have that, and so I had to like set up the hotkeys in Premiere to let me do that.
Yeah,
But knowing
yeah.
that you use auto hotkey to do that, that's actually kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a Vegas user as well, Vegas Pro. And
Yep.
there's some good things about Vegas, and some things that I'm like
There's
really
a lot
annoyed
of
by
bad
Premiere
things.
Pro. There's a lot of bad things
Yeah.
about Vegas. Premiere is amazing, but there are still some grips I have with Premiere where it's like, so in Vegas you're able to track movement like of let's say
Yes.
face. Why can't you do
Yes.
that on Premiere? You have to use After Effects. Come on, Premiere. Hello.
Dude,
Like,
the amount of times I had to like manually adjust, like when you track when you track something in Premiere, I had to like manually like every few.
Such a pain.
I have to like move
It's-
it, go a few frames, move it, go a few frames.
It's such a pain.
yeah,
so
yeah.
bad.
They're going to do it though. They are definitely going to do it. They will, because if
Yeah.
you don't know, a lot of the features that Premiere Pro gets, let's say there's also one called Remix for audio. And what Remix does is it allows you to shorten, let's say you have a music track that's 3 minutes long. You can remix it and shorten it down to 1 minute. And it sounds like a 1 minute song. It's actually something that they had on Audition. And it's been there for years. They've just implemented it onto Premiere Pro because they thought, hey, this would be good. I use it a lot. And that's why I think they're going to implement the whole follow, that whole panning thing.
Yeah, like
which follows
actual
you, because-
tracking.
yeah, because that's from After Effects. They have to implement it over to Premiere Pro. It's only a matter of time. This is something that they do a lot with Premiere Pro, is they get a lot of features from their other software and put it onto Premiere Pro. I mean, even nesting. I don't know if you know about nesting. Nesting wasn't a thing, but it was a thing in After Effects. They moved it over to Premiere Pro. So that's something to keep in mind. I use After Effects, Photoshop, Adobe Audition, and you'll see a lot of things that like Premiere Pro has taken from all of these different softwares. So just always keep that in mind and check updates. And as soon as you read something that's something like that, you just get on it straight away.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to talk to you about the animated text for the transcripting, because I did not know you can animate them, because the video I sent to you was, you cannot animate them yet. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I can't animate.
oh, yeah. It's super easy. Like it's, I think like 2 buttons. It's
what?
Maybe 3 clicks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I will say that.
That's a 3rd button. I don't know, man.
Oh man. No, but I will say, like, us adding the captions to shorts was the thing that took the longest.
Yeah,
always.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
There's always a typo, and I mean, I guess you still have to like check this with like auto transcripting. Like, you still need to check for that
it's
stuff.
pretty accurate though.
Yeah, man, AI is cool.
Yeah, AI is insane.
Like transcripting is like really accurate. The only thing like that it gets wrong for me is when I say monster names.
Oh, weird! It doesn't know what Velcana is.
Yeah,
Strange.
for some reason
it can't pronounce out Geismagorn. Weird. Very strange.
Man.
It's pretty interesting though, because it has adapted to artists, like musical artists, like big artists, which is so strange. Like you can say some, because I work with somebody who makes videos on music bands, like rappers, punk rock bands and such, and some of these rappers have crazy names, and the auto caption just got it, and I was like, what the how? It's even got like the weird sort of, so it knows anything that's like really big, a really big name, auto caption will understand. Super
Yeah,
smart
because it
AIs.
is.
Oh my gosh.
It is AI, right? Like it's a database that's being populated by what other people are doing, what other people are referencing, what the internet is talking about, what's trending online. Like it is AI, and it is understanding these things, and it's growing and it's learning. It's insane.
I like that
Machine
form of
learning
AI.
is crazy. Like machine learning is insane. I spent in 2014, I spent like an entire week learning from my friends that like do this stuff for a living, just like what machine learning was going to become. And like back then I was like, I don't believe you. And I'm looking at it now, I'm like, oh, I'm terrified. This is insane. This is so cool.
Yeah. I studied artificial intelligence when I took computer science at university, and I thought it was such an interesting subject. It's actually seeing what AI is now actually excites me. I'm actually super excited. The only thing that's I've always been a little concerned about is not AI itself, it's just kind of some companies. That's about it. I don't want to get into that, but I think AI itself, artificial intelligence, is an incredible tool, and
especially for video editing, because there's the human element to art. Like this is, for all intents and purposes, it is art, right? And there's a human element to humor, there's a human element to aesthetic, and that's something that can't be reproduced by a computer, at least not accurately, right? And so the idea here is that we can use these tools from AI to reduce tedium and automate the work that we're doing.
Exactly.
That's a really important point. When you're spending 30 hours on a project, but 10 of that was this incredibly tedious task of putting in all of the captions by hand, you could have shortened that to 2 hours with just one tool.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's exactly the case. And again, that's just going to make for better content.
Oh, absolutely. Because you can produce it faster as well too, and you'll be able to put it out more and be more consistent.
It's more enjoyable too. I'm telling you, just imagine captioning. I did it initially for like 1 month, and then I was like, no, forget this. I can't do it. It's just so exhausting. I'm already cutting videos, right? And then I have to caption. I'm like, oh gosh, like my brain's exhausted. But I'm so glad they have this. So it's a lifesaver. Sure, it needs you have to edit some stuff here and there, but much better than before.
Oh yeah. I mean, what do you want to do? Edit 100% of the captions in an hour-long video, or edit 20% of them?
Exactly.
Hands down, I'll do the 20%.
That makes me think because anime, especially with I'm turning this all around, but no.
I want to hear. I want to do it.
How does he do it? How does he know how to do this? This man's terrible at segues, but he will know how to bring in anime. Go on.
I love it.
They're able to bring in episodes and have like subtitles in anime pretty much the same day, like if not like an hour or two after it's been produced.
Yeah, an hour or two after it's been released. Not when it's been produced.
No, wrong word. Yeah. So when it's been released,
because those guys, that's a little different, right? Like a television show airing, that show's been like written, done, and published for months before it starts airing.
Yes, but not
right.
So they've had
time to. But they've had the company has time to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's just written in Japanese and then they release it and then they translate it. No, they translated it well before then.
Okay.
So they have like an English transcript and a German transcript and an Italian and so on and so forth. Like they do all of that stuff beforehand. They probably use AI in parts of it.
Yeah.
But like historically, like TV shows have a translation team, video games have a translation team, and that's part of the development of the product.
Probably. Yeah. I think that's what I was trying to say is that like I think the putting in the subtitles, they probably use that AI to like have it do it first, and then they go into it with the actual script and just like see what mistakes are made and stuff.
Because the difference between translation and localization, right? That's the whole Pokemon jelly donuts meme with the onigiri. Like, look at this jelly donut. It's like no American child's gonna know what an onigiri is, but they call it a jelly donut, and every American child was like,
I was really confused too. I saw that like that does not look like a donut.
But that's the difference between translation and localization, because they could have just done a translation and called it like onigiri, versus a localization, which is making it relevant to that area, which they don't always do, like in television shows, because context is everything. But like video games do localization all the time because you get like colloquials and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And AI can't predict that stuff. That's the difference, right? And AI can translate, it can't localize. Like it's not smart enough to do that because, you know, context is everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But someday it might, which is
Scary.
It's
oh god.
I mean, there's also
possible.
there's also another AI tool, right, that you can use in video editing where, let's say you have a statue of, I don't know, just a statue. You're a videographer and you have this well-known statue, or let's just say Paris. You go to Paris and you have the tower, and
the Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel Tower, and you pan across. There is now a tool that allows you to scan that little Eiffel Tower, and you can. And it will use AI to generate several different drawings of the Eiffel Tower, right? So you can have this really cool effect where it goes through hundreds of different drawings for that specific Eiffel Tower as you're panning across. Whoa. And that's mind-blowing. Also, I don't know how there is some stuff that I'm not too sure about how I feel about certain things, but it's still insane how AI is capable of doing these things. Like it can take it at different angles. It's like having a person draw at specific angles 100 times, but you just have an AI that does that. Again, I not too sure how I feel about it, but
the ethics of AI generated images and, you know, the ethics of AI generated content within art. Yeah, like there's definitely this moral gray area. It's theft. Where we're not really sure like how companies are gonna. It's theft, and like the relevance to the impact on the art industry. It's theft, everyone. It's theft. AI generated images are theft. But there are good, like you were saying earlier, there are good uses of AI and there are bad uses of AI, and there are ones that remove, you know, the human touch and the necessity for people, and then there is one that can't. And so people will always try to remove the human aspect because we don't have to pay robots anything, and then this is how Terminator begins.
Or Matrix.
Yeah, and it's, again, the scary thing I say is it's not AI that's scary, it's the business behind it. I mean, by the way, if you want to know, Adobe are planning to do something like this too. If you want to look into, if any of you use Adobe, you can look into the terms and conditions, but they're looking into using all of the, basically anytime you use their software, if you're uploading certain images onto their cloud or videos, that grants them access to using it for their AI, which is kind of scary if you think about it. I think there's a big issue with it, and I think it's having images and all that. I think it's an excellent thing if it's done well. Like I honestly think what it should be is, hey, here's this AI, and this is a website with all these artists that have allowed their art to
that
use
consented.
For AI.
I have consented for you to use this gallery of images that I produced under my intellectual property or my copyright for this specific artificial intelligence, not the entirety of DeviantArt.
That's exactly, like, that would make so much more sense. You get paid for, and especially for artists. And I was talking to someone about this, and I said this would be very useful for an artist in this case, where they could make an art. Let's say they are an incredible artist. Their art is like $5,000, right? And someone's can't afford them to make a really personal one, so they say, all right, well, I've got this AI that will look through all of my art, and I can sell you an AI art of my art for a lot cheaper. But just know that this isn't drawn by me. This is drawn by the AI art, studying from all of my images. So it won't be me who's making it. It will take And I think that would
It'll be
great.
my style, and I've consented to my style to be reproduced in this way, and then I also still get monetarily compensated.
Yeah, and I think
because I put in
good.
the effort to curate the gallery that's going to be used to generate the style. Like that's smart, and that's what they don't want.
Yeah, this is crazy, right?
Well, I have to pay for the thing that the robot made, but the robot made it. You didn't make it. It's only referencing the thing that you made.
Oh my goodness!
You had to spend the hundreds of hours to make that thing originally. Hundreds of thousands of hours to make that thing originally. But we just shoved it into a robot to make literally thousands of interpretations of a prompt to get the thing that I want for free.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Fucking people, man.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Christ almighty. I'm going to go to McDonald's. I'm going to go to McDonald's and I'm going to order a milkshake. But when I order the milkshake, I'm going to tell them I would like a large milkshake from McDonald's, strawberry, whipped cream in a large cup with a straw, and then I'm going to ask them to make 100,000 of them, but I'm only going to pay them for one.
Yeah, that's
how insane are you people?
Oh,
I can't. I'm sorry.
goodness.
I've been ranting and raving about this for so long. Skoj can attest to this too, because anytime that the AI art trends come up, like, oh look, it's my profile picture, anime, and I'm like, please no.
After learning more about
this is not the dystopia that I want to live in.
No, because when it's first started with the whole like you can make your face into anime kind of thing, and when it first started I was like, oh, this is actually kind of funny and pretty fun. But then like looking as time went on, I saw like how much it impacted like everything and how wrong it actually is. I'm like, I don't condone this anymore.
It's even like what it impacts, like everything. It's how it impacts actual artists.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You know, and what's really insane too is like, because people will generate AI art saying this is, I've seen this actually with a bunch of like indie developers recently, because one of the most expensive parts of indie development, I shit you not, like when I say most expensive, it's like 15% of the total budget is promotional artwork. Right, like the graphics that you make and how you promote it and the marketing behind that. So what they've been doing is, we've generated this AI art. We've used AI art as a reference. And this one developer, they're making some fighting games, and they're like, we are using the AI artwork right now as a placeholder while we gain funds for the project. To kickstart it and stuff like that. We wanted something to be a placeholder for now. This is a placeholder that we're using to theorize and brainstorm the look of the game. And lo and behold, the freaking thing launches, and it's the same picture.
Yeah,
and everyone was like, "So you lied," like flat out. And like, they tried to go back and like edit like one of the fists, because the fists had like 9 fingers, and they tried to go back and edit it to make it look right. And they're like, no, all you did was just clone stamp that part out. Like, these pictures line up 1-to-1 except for the hands. Like, that was the only jankiness to it. And like, some of the proportions are weird. Like, why does this dude have 3 biceps? It's insane. But like, it's exactly what you're saying, Ness. Like, corporations you give them an inch and they take a mile. Like, whatever we can do, like a company, and anywhere, anyone will do this. Even a person, whatever you give them, they will try to take it and exploit it as much as possible.
I mean, that's video editors. Video edits too. But Karen, what are you gonna say, Skoj?
I was gonna say there was something. This was years ago, so there probably is a tool for this already. But there was like someone that made an AI for like video editing. This is like the cool part of AI, where they made it so then whenever it peaks at a certain like volume for like the video, that it cuts between those peaks. So like, let's say you're talking about something, and if you have it go above a certain level, then it will cut between those, and it like automatically does that for you. I don't know if
I use a plugin called AutoCut, so you can look into that.
Well, there you go.
That will
That's crazy.
if honestly, I mean it when I say like, I used so many I'll link it to you. It says it's French, but just change it to the English version. I've used it. It's like there's other options. There's a more expensive one,
so
and
crazy.
I would say it's better. It's called AutoCut, and you'll see .fr. That means it's French, but it was made by this French company, and what it does is it just basically tries to find all the dead space and it just cuts it out. It will
interesting.
you let it go through and it will cut it all and put it all together, and it's
So
pretty quick.
wild.
This does that with dead air.
Sorry?
This does that just with dead air. Just with like silence in that audio track.
You can adjust how much
okay.
Like, so yeah, you can adjust. But I will say it's very important to use it when audio is like if the audio is very good, then it's great to use. If the audio is a little, if the mic's not doing great, like you can they haven't EQ'd or compressed it or anything, that's gonna cause you problems because it might cut into like times when you're really quiet. But if you have great audio, that is amazing. It's an amazing tool, and
that is
anyone that's like
super neat.
Yeah, I use a lot. I've researched a lot of different things, and as I said, as a video editor, you should always think to yourself, how can I do things faster? Because the more you think about that, the more valuable you are, you know? So that's great. AutoCut.
I wonder if there's another tool like that with like profanity even, right? Because like people like to censor themselves out. Like AI can absolutely be used now to learn what profanity sounds like in a video and make cuts around that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if that's being developed or already made. Like, I
someone
feel like
someone has to have made this.
Someone has to get onto it right now because YouTube is
that would be huge.
Restricting. Yeah, YouTube's been a lot harder on
the swearing.
Swearing. And,
they just published that, right? Like an actual transparent guideline. Cursing within the first 5 minutes, excessive
very
profanity.
Transparent. It's really good.
Yeah, they've made more general guidelines, whether or not, because it always comes down to how competent is your human reviewer. Because some of these people have a vendetta. It's insane. But I mean, that's nice to know, like, because I've been trying to do that now while I'm streaming, because the most that I do video editing wise is cutting a VOD for a speed run, and so I'm trying to avoid cursing within the first 5 minutes, so I don't have to go back and cut that. So I'm looking at my speedrun timer, and then after 5 minutes, I can just start dropping F-bombs. Like, no, I can start casually using profanity again. And so like I've been trying to be mindful about that, but like that would be actually an amazing tool. The number of censorship cuts that I had to do during that Sea of Thieves, or that we had to do during that Sea of Thieves stream was insane.
Yeah, that would be
I can imagine.
That was $1 million idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea, and I think a lot of people will get onto that.
Absolutely.
Especially after the YouTube update, everyone would be on that like crazy. Yeah, that's a very good idea.
Oh man.
Trademark GamerBreakfast. We own it now, so if you make it, we own at least all of it.
Oh, yep. But
it's how copyright works, right?
Oh man. So with where you're at with editing and everything, I feel like you're in a pretty good spot with where you're at. How would you say so? Because you have someone who would consistently like reach out to you for like videos and stuff, and I feel like you're in a pretty good spot. Like, is there like more goals or where you want to be in the future? Like,
yeah. I mean, right now I'd say I'm happy. I'm honestly shocked. It's I always feel lucky. Like I'm not going to ever state that otherwise. I genuinely do feel lucky to be where I'm at. I am in a good spot, and I'm a very good spot, and I'm very happy about it. But there is more I want to do. I do want to get into YouTube more, as I said, just more than just video editing. I really want to get in more involved with growing like it's sort of like a YouTube manager sort of thing.
Yeah, like a community manager, a content manager.
Yeah, but
That's
at the
smart.
same time, I'm also very, very, because I'm getting a computer upgrade. I'm very interested in motion graphics. That's something that I've been wanting to delve into for a very long time. I just haven't had the hardware, and I've done motion graphics some, and
you did
I
it on
really
the
enjoy it.
you did it on the one video for like Welcome to the Internet by Joe Burnham, I think, right? Was that is that considered?
Yeah, I did a.
Let's talk about that. That's cool.
Oh, he did like a fun edit.
Yeah, it was like a little. I think I can link it if I can find it. I don't even know. It's somewhere.
I can find it.
Oh gosh,
go for it.
Yeah, but yeah, I want to get more into motion graphics because it's just something I've always enjoyed. Let's see.
Oh, I can continue looking for it. You
did an edit for the music video?
No, it wasn't. He didn't do it. It was like a fan edit, but it was really cool.
I was like, wait a minute, like you worked on like the music video for like that? That's cool. You know, Bo Burnham, you want to hook up brother? I was like so confused for a second, but that, even still, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, you know, but
yeah, I mean, it's. I don't think it's anything crazy, but it's something I've always enjoyed. I'm not like, I haven't done a lot of work in motion graphics because again, my hardware is very limiting, but I really want to delve into it a lot more. I've always enjoyed just being very creative, and I feel like motion graphics, there is a lot more you can do, and you can incorporate that with video editing. Yeah, I just that's something I want to get into, and that also again makes you, I would say, a more interesting client to work with. You know, you'd be like, oh,
more marketable.
Like,
yeah. I mean, I've also done sort of this kind of quote unquote trailer for someone doing a little bit of more than just basic video editing, and I love doing those sorts of things. Truthfully, they pay more than video edits because there's a lot more skill involved. Yeah. And they're just so much more enjoyable to work on. So that's something that I want to get into.
Nice.
That's a big part of it. I've told this about to Skoj. I didn't get onto it this month because I've been so busy, and but I actually want to get into YouTube as well again because after learning so much from video editing and so many different clients, studying it, I'm really interested in, at least not full time or anything, just a little bit, giving it a try myself. And I feel like that is an important skill to have as well, because if you make your own content, you are now in the shoes of your clients, and you know how they feel. And again, I just feel like this is so important as anyone that wants to make a career in like content creation, whether that's working for content creators or being a content creator yourself. I think those are amazing skills to have, and I'm in a very privileged position to be able to do that. So
absolutely. I'm so excited for you because the content you made before I thought was fantastic. You definitely have the voice for it as well, and I definitely think with the
voice
knowledge
for content,
you definitely have the knowledge for it, and the fact that with like YouTube Shorts being like so like a very big thing for like helping content creators grow right now, I definitely think you can definitely blow up and figure things out.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a little sneak peek of something I did. This is actually, you can do this with video editing, but it's like a motion graphics. This is one of the videos I worked on with my clients. So it's stuff like this that I find super interesting to do. I really enjoy working on.
Yeah,
And-
for the audio listening portion of this, and for the fact that we like won't have this available for people, do you want to explain a little bit about what you just shared with us?
Yeah. So it's an intro that I made for one of my clients, and it is an intro for a documentary about Panic at the Disco. And I absolutely love really delving into making the introductions very engaging. In fact, with my client Blau, and also with this current client, whenever it comes to the intros, people are constantly going back and back. You can check in the viewer retention. They're constantly going back to the intros and rewatching it. And that is such an exciting feeling to see. You know, it's crazy when you see such a high percentage of viewer attention at the start, right? It does drop down, but it drops down perfectly fine, like a normal pace, right? So it doesn't drop off the cliff and everyone leaves. People stay, which is great, but it's so great to see that. And here's the thing, for anyone that's interested right now, for video editors, people are paying for video editors to do just the intro. There's many people. Some of the, like, I think Mr. I think it was somebody that works with maybe I think he works with Mr. Beast. He was actually opening up for video editors, specifically introduction video editors, and they were looking for someone who specializes in that specific area, and they would just focus on making introductions. That's it.
That's
People are
super
getting
cool.
paid for that.
It's definitely something I'm interested to talk about.
So it's like a new job.
And motion graphics is a big part of that.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's, in my opinion, that's a really exciting thing for many video editors to be very excited to look into.
I think especially in the intro side too, like that gives you a lot more ability to be a lot more creative and to find new ways to like pull in an audience, to find new ways to visualize the content that you're about to show and how to preface it. Like it's cool storyboarding stuff too. Like y'all are smart. Like it's always so impressive to me just to see like what people can like come up with and how they can just create the idea in their head. It's very cool.
That's really good too, because like that could definitely make it cheaper for the person that's like wanting to have a video editor for working on stuff, but they know what's the person that's buying stuff?
What's the customer?
The customer. I could not think of that word. Good Lord.
That's okay.
The customer that's asking for the person to edit the video, but they know how to edit themselves, but they don't know how to do the high-end stuff. I feel like editing intros and stuff would be perfect, because the editor itself would actually be able to make more videos for the person that the customer that knows how to edit already. So
I mean, like, especially if like, because that's like a really fair point. Like, if you, SkojSkull, someone who is comfortable making their own videos and has that ability to, but may not have like the time for more interesting or more expensive, time-consuming like video edits, you go through your VOD. Hey, I've already cut it. I need someone to go in and add captions and edits. And like, these are the edits that I'm thinking about. Here are the timestamps for them. That's the job that I'm hiring you for. That's a great client. Are you kidding me? That's a fantastic client. You know?
Yeah.
The bulk of the work is already done, but the hard work is there.
My mind's a moving.
It's always like I'm
the gears are turning.
An empire. I always love this. I absolutely love this, because Skoj will do this thing where he'll invite guests on that are relevant to his current interests. Who would have seen it that Skoj would have gotten a VTuber model after we had 4 VTubers on the podcast?
That's not a doubt. I swear that was not done on purpose. It was not.
It was. Oddly enough, he had a lot of questions about VTubing.
No. Oh man,
he had a lot of questions about video editing. No, that's something that you've been doing for like ever, and I think anyone like that does anything. This is like a really fair point, just like outside of this is how like you turn a hobby into a profession kind of idea, right? Anyone that has any marketable skill or any marketable talent or any ability to produce a product, finding a way to monetize that is always difficult. But there are people that have done it, and there are people like yourself, Ness, that are willing to share their experiences and what ways work for them.
Yeah.
And I always think that's like always super cool. So just a really quick thing. Thank you for sharing your experience with
Absolutely.
other people and with us, you know, because that's invaluable to a lot of people, even me as a consumer,
Oh, thanks.
because not a lot of people are willing to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all in this together.
Yeah, I've always been like that. I talk to. I think this is something that a lot of video editors do, and it's a shame, really. But
Yeah.
it's very, people are very competitive against each other, and they probably don't want to share like how they do things or share their like video rates and all these things. And look, I get it, but I genuinely want to tell this to anyone who's doing commission work, anyone that's doing commission work. Share it, like talk to people. You are not competing against each other. You're basically trying to understand each other and understand each other's rates, understand how much work you put into things, and find a way to make things fair for you, you know?
I mean, those are they may be your competition, but they're also your coworkers. Like, you have to keep up with them.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, the truth is there is actually enough jobs for a lot of video editors out there. Like there are many jobs available. It's just, it can be hard to get those jobs, but the more we're able to understand what to do, the better. I mean, for me, starting off, I had no idea how to charge myself. You know, it's like, all right, it takes me about 5 hours to do this. I guess I'll charge at this rate, right, for the 5 hours. But am I taking too long for what I'm doing? Is somebody doing this like in 1 hour? Am I doing it really fast? And some people take 20 hours? So what am I doing here? And for me, I reached out to many video editors, and it's just so nice to have some of them come back to me and give me feedback. And they'll be like, yeah, I charge this and this. It takes me about this long. And I think more video editors should do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not there to try to steal. I've never taken any of their clients. In fact, I can tell you for sure, right? If you're video editing for a client, that client, if you're a great video editor, that client will probably not want to lose you. And the thing is, it's because it's so expensive to get a new video editor, because they have to learn how you do your things. And again, it's just better to stick with the current. So yeah, help out each other, guys. It's a team effort. Don't go into it solo. If you go into it solo, you're going to take longer. It's going to be much harder.
Collaborate, you know, because you're here to help build each other. I mean, even in like my line of work, like I was telling Ness about this earlier, but like I'm an environmental scientist, and twice a year we have the environmental scientists of Florida. We have a meetup twice a year to see people, to collaborate, to talk about projects we're working on, to talk about new methodologies that are coming out, emerging contaminants, stuff like that. Like it's a collaborative effort. Even though we're separate companies, even though we're separate entities, even though we are competition, it's still a collaborative effort. Yeah. You know? Yeah. In any industry. You know, so like reach out to people, talk to people, ask. Because the worst they say is no. Like, I don't want to tell you.
Having information about something is such a huge key to like anything. And the fact that like I guess you could say competitors are like working together just to help each other out, because they understand like how much is involved to keep to maintain that line of work and to like keep up with everything. It's entirely up to the business owner to make that step into like, okay, we need to make this change. So it's really cool to see that this actually happens with competitors too, where they actually work together and to like, all right, this is what we need to do to grow. We're gonna do it. You could do it if you want to, and see where it goes.
I mean, even streamers every day do this stuff. Streamers collaborate. We
Yeah,
have
yeah.
each other on each other's streams. We raid each other. We literally take our audience and sit them in front of them, and then we go, "Damn, what if they like them more than me?" Doesn't like you can't think like that
No.
because this is the collaborative thing. We are sharing the same audience, or we are sharing an audience, or we are sharing a customer pool, right? Like you have to be confident in your ability to create a product and confident in what you're doing and what you're charging, and there's a lot that goes into it, but don't be afraid to collaborate with people. I think that's the main kind of takeaway here.
Yeah, you have to be confident that's another thing. You have to be confident in yourself,
Yeah.
And guys, and anyone that's like scared, it'll be okay. Seriously, it's a scary thought, and I think it's because of how we live life as we grow up, right?
Yeah.
You have, I don't want to bring politics here, but we live not too much, but
Whoa.
we live in a capitalistic world where you have the highest, the people who earn the most money, and then you have the people who are not as fortunate. What we're doing here is something completely different. It flips the table where we're working socially together, and it's uncomfortable because we're not used to it. We live in a whole society that's complete opposite of that, but it works, guys. It really works. It's so good, and you will grow. You will learn so much. I'm going to say I have never heard of anyone who did like collab with another streamer or anything that's like, I've lost half of my viewers now. All of my viewers are gone after. I have never heard of that.
All my viewers only watch SkojSkull now.
I have never heard of that. I've never heard of that. It's all in a lot of it is in our heads. People are actually genuinely nice. People are nice people. Not everyone's mean.
Yeah,
people are nice people.
Not everyone's mean. It's so weird.
Yeah. If you two were to like stream together and had viewers that come into both of your streams, I guarantee there's going to be viewers that are going to be like, "Hey, I like this new guy. I'm going to hang out in his stream and Skoj. I want to support them both."
Yeah,
that's how we are.
Us last night.
Yeah, it was so funny because it's also crazy too. Like it means a lot as well because like I'm just gonna say for us, Jal, but the fact that like our viewers or even your viewers like would take the time to come out of the way to come to my like a YouTube live stream, which is like an totally different like.
I didn't even put that link in chat. They had to search that themselves.
Oh,
shit. They had to go and find you on. I didn't even put it in chat. I didn't even be like, go watch Skoj on YouTube. I was actually trying to tell them to not do it. And they were still doing it.
Wait, man, I just thought it was really cool.
But you're right. It's wild, and especially because like you made that like huge shift, and people are still going out of their ways to make sure that they're interacting with you and being a part of your community on this new platform. So it's like incredibly new to people.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Because I find that hard. I hate being a viewer on YouTube streaming. Doing my best.
The
it's
UI help you?
Yeah, no, the UI helps for sure. Because now I can put it in theater mode and then like only have half the screen up instead of the whole thing, and then still see chat. Just like Twitch. Come on, YouTube, get your crap together. Anyways.
But yeah, I mean, I think that about covers everything about.
That's a good workshop / advertisement. That's probably a good spot to stop.
Yeah,
we hit everything, man. We talked about it all
so much. Is there anything you want to say or you want to plug or anything? Like, go for it.
Anyone who's looking into freelance work. Okay, actually I'll try to summarize it as quick, as small as possible, but
okay, take your time.
If you got no portfolio, you got nothing, you will have to work for a little cheap, but constantly push your rates up, keep going higher. It'll be okay. Be confident in yourself. Don't be scared to charge a little more. It's for your own health and your well-being. Go outside, touch grass,
touch grass,
you need to, it's really important to take care of your mental health. But don't give up. You got this. You have to, again, believe in yourself, schedule yourself, and be consistent. Yeah, and my name is MessyNess. You can check me out on Twitter. It's MessyNess with an underscore.
Damn, someone had it.
Damn.
Yeah.
If you want to check out some of the like gameplay videos, some of my biggest client is with Blau. If you check the videos, you can check the description. You'll find the videos that are edited by me.
Yeah,
you can look into the Yu-Gi-Oh videos.
You
Those are
had
made
one
by
that had
me.
over 200,000 views for that Yu-Gi-Oh video.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
The biggest video, the most viewed video on Blau's YouTube channel was edited by me, and very, very happy about that. The most recent video, I think, is the most recent video, which will be it's Blau with his what's it called? I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh, so I'm not too sure. Exodia deck. Exodia deck. That's the most recent one. I edited that. That's one of my most proudest ones. So you can check that out too. But yeah, one sec.
Be fine. It's been longer than a second. I'm kidding.
Hold everything.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh man.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just being goofy, but yeah.
And then this, I edit stuff. Yeah. If anyone wants,
Weird. Is that why we talked about video editing the entire time? Super strange.
If anyone wants to talk to me about anything to do with freelance work or video editing, hit me up with a DM on Twitter. I am super open to talk to anyone.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
You might have to. I might have to follow you. I'm not too sure, but if I'm not, if you can't DM me, just at me at Twitter, and I'm sure I'll see the message.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, and that's
Awesome.
it really.
Well, thank you, Ness, so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it, especially on your day off. It really does
No worries.
mean a lot that you want to take the time of your day to talk with us nerds that know nothing. But yeah, with that, thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you guys very much for listening. If you're listening on Spotify and any other listening device, and with that, put us in your mouth.
No, why? It's 2023. Stop.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.